Dr. Randall, the Soul Doctor, author of Soul Doctoring, Heal Yourself, Heal the Planet, shares her 40 years of experience as a cross-cultural practitioner, medical futurist, and expert in 20 different modalities of healing, along with amazing interviews with some of the leading minds in medicine and big thinkers in all walks of life. The stories of our lives are the woven energies of our soul's paths. They feed and ignite the spiritual light that nourishes the universal soul, the one mind, the cosmic consciousness where we all come together. This podcast is going to be a deep dive into the personal stories of people who have made significant contributions to the planet. What formed them? What moved them to become these leaders and innovators that inspire us so? Hi, Arturo.
Well, hello, Dr. Randall. I am so happy to be here, at least via the digital the platform, because, as you know, I admire you. I admire your work, and we've come a long ways. I mean, I think I met you more than 12 years ago. Right? I think it was.
Wasn't it longer? I don't know. We met at Passages. I met Arturo Mesquite, who is an amazing healer, and at Passages because we were all part of the same healing circle. As a matter of fact, that was one of the most profound healing circles I've worked in.
Yeah, that was
when it was functioning. You know, we had Audrey Hope and Noah Rothschild, who have both been on my show, and you, of course, and me, and many others, but it was really a circle where we all worked together and everybody left their egos outside. It was very good. We had a lot of good results with our patients there.
It was so intimate at the time, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I think we had.
Of course, Passages was one of the, and probably still, I mean, at least while we were there, it was one of the leading alcohol and addiction rehabilitation centers in the world. And they're still open. They still bring their patients to me, to my office, but I don't work there. So.
Yeah, but let me remind you of something. You know where we actually met? We met at a seminar for a nutritional seminar, and you sat right next to me, or I sat next to you.
Oh, yeah, that's right. What was that?
Designers for Health.
Oh, right.
Yes.
I do remember now that you mentioned that.
Yeah, and I was.
And then we just so happened to end up at the same place, or?
No, I told the owners of Passages about you.
Well, Chris had already been pursuing me for about 6 or 7 years to get me to come there before I came there.
Well, I did speak to them, and I told them Dr. Randall, integrative medicine, and I think at the time they were looking for a medical doctor for the center, and that's when you came in. I think it was around 2005, if not mistaken.
Yeah. Oh, thank you. But like I said, he'd already been after me before that. But so I think maybe you're prodding. He came back to me, and I finally said, okay, well, let's just practice it. And, so we practiced for about 10 years or something. But anyway, it was a good circle, and it was lovely working with you and getting to know you at that time. So it's really great to get back together with you, and I hope this leads to more work together. But let me introduce you.
Please.
Arturo Mesquite is one of the greatest energy and spiritual medicine doctors in the world. His approach is non-mainstream. It goes beyond popular therapies, which makes his work extremely unique and extraordinary. He helps people identify what's making them feel trapped and or physically ill, and fixes the issues energetically in a very short amount of time. His work, of course, when you go to a regular doctor, they usually pass you a pill or something. They don't really consider your energy.
Right.
His work is, again, non-invasive, effective, and transformational. His PhD is in natural medicine. He has studied with doctors all around the world, as well as in-depth training with shamans, healers, and he's treated thousands of people worldwide. He spent a decade working for Passages and Seasons in Malibu, California. And he's just a very unique kind of healer. He now, where do you reside now, Arturo?
My base it's Miami, but I was in Mexico City for 6 years.
Mm-hmm.
To what was it 2000? At the beginning of this year is when I moved to Miami,
Mm-hmm.
and the for the last 12 years I've been traveling I nonstop from Los Angeles to New York to Zurich, Switzerland, and some other countries in Europe, and then Mexico City. I was blessed to be in Mexico City, treating great people there, and also doing a lot of television. I did a lot of television for 5 years, so that was a great learning for me, a great training because when you do TV, TV today is so fast. You have to get to the point within 2 to 3 minutes. So
Mm-hmm.
when I first started, I had a 3 pages long of what I needed to talk about, and the producer would say, "No, no, cut, 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 cut." So I learned to get to the bottom of it and get to the point of it, and one, two, three, out. Yeah, and so that was a great training for me. And I like to simplify the healing process. I'd like to make it very simple. I think that no one wants to spend months or years on trying to fix something. So I worked really hard to come up with a system that is fast, but and also that you get results, right? So I haven't stopped. I really haven't stopped because one of my values or drives, it's learning. I just love
Mm-hmm.
learning. I love learning different ways of healing the body. And as you know, you could use so many things. You can use sound, you can use shamanism, you can use nature, you can use foods, and so we have so much available to us. And it's just a matter of narrowing it down and simplify it.
Yes, yes. My people know that listen to this show that the people that I have on are unique and they're doing something unique and extraordinary to make this planet a better place to be. And I really like to get to the roots
Yes.
of who you are and how you know what you know. So when did you know you had this gift?
I think that if I go back to my teen years, I I already felt an outcast or couldn't relate to kids my age. And I think the biggest struggle for me was identity, finding my place. We moved to America from a small town in north of Mexico, and called Sonora. And I was about, I would say about 12 years or older or so. And I just couldn't find my place. I was mixed between two cultures, and it was very difficult for me. I consider myself a very sensitive person with a lot of senses, so I had that to deal with as well. So it was a major struggle for me to trying to find my place. And luckily, I would always go with what do I need to do instead of going for the why this is happening to me. I do recall taking action, and I had an urge, I had a hunger for learning. So that was one of my most important values that took me where I am today. And when it what it what started with me, from the age of 16 to the age of 20, I was a caregiver to elderly. I would feed them, I would bathe them, I would give them their medication, and I started to notice something odd with them. I noticed that they were deteriorating, and I started to wonder, why is it about when we get old, when we get 65, when we get 70, 75 years old, life seemed lifeless, and that's how I envisioned myself as an older person, and I became rather depressed about it. But that was the beginning stages of becoming eager about understanding what is it about the body. Why do we deteriorate. So it became a personal quest, and I haven't stopped. So that was the beginning stages of tapping into healing and such, tapping into the emotions, the foods, and then I didn't have any money, and I I had a lot of, as a young boy, I had a lot of pimples, and so I at the time I was living in Palm Springs, and I went to a place. It was like a spa, and they would do facials and such. So I spoke to the owner, and I asked if they could give me, because I didn't have any money, any treatments in exchange for painting or just drawing the specials for today and such. And that's how I got started. And the person, the owner of that place, she was a nutritionist, a vegetarian and such, and she's the one who introduced me to certain diets, into becoming a vegetarian and cooking and such. So basically, she was my godmother. That was I think I was about 16 years old. So from that experience, plus taking care of the elderly, those two allow me to tap more into other possibilities. And then when I moved to LA, I was about 20 years old, and I got into yoga meditation. I went to different centers, Yogananda, the Sikh community, and so I explored a lot of the yoga as well. And so that's how my journey began with the holistic approach.
So when did you know you had this gift to heal people energetically?
As I look back, also, I think that I had a low back issue that no one would take care, no one would fix it. I would go to different doctors, and I was 17, 18 years old. And when I moved to LA, I met a shaman, and he's the one who got rid of my pain. So I was so excited that I asked him if I could help him in exchange for learning. And so he became my mentor for about maybe 4 years. So I would help with the treatments. It's a very specific treatment that taps into the neck, certain points on the neck. It's called chemotherapy. It's a Japanese style.
So the shaman taught you this therapy?
Yeah, he taught me.
And what's it called again?
It's called chemotherapy. It's one of the meridians from the Japanese.
Chemo, is that a Japanese word, or?
I think it's coming from a meridian. The chemo. I don't recall the name.
Oh, so it's a Chinese word.
No, I think it's Japanese.
How do you spell it?
Yeah, so it's JIMO.
Okay.
Yeah, and so the premise of this therapy, it's working on the neck. There are certain, the neck is almost the bridge between from the brain to the rest of the body. So if the neck it's open, if those meridians are open, then blood flow, circulation travels to the neck.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So that was the.
So this shaman was Japanese, or?
No, actually, he was Mexican.
Okay.
But his mentor,
he knew several disciplines like I do.
Correct, but his mentor was someone from Japan.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and so that's how he learned the technique. But I didn't start with chemo. I started with reflexology first. I went from the ground up. Reflexology, reflexology on the hands, and then I worked on the back. So little by little, he taught me Shiatsu, and then at the end, that's when he taught me the chemotherapy. So it built up, which was great. I was able to learn more about anatomy, physiology, the meridians, and then of course I went into learning more about the physical body, other healing modalities. Took endless courses, weekend courses, and of course my training in my PhD in natural medicine, and I haven't stopped. There's so much to learn about the body, and gosh, I think I only know 1%. And I've been in this business for so many years.
Yeah, I think, those of us that are, we don't stop. We just want to keep learning more and more. That's always been my thing. I want to, the more I can know, the more I can help my patients. So,
Yeah. And one is not, the thing that I learned, it's not so much about just food or just having an emotional stability or a mindset. They all have to work together. You cannot separate them. And that is why I wanted to integrate them all. The,
mm-hmm.
the instrument, the body, the mind, the emotion, and of course the spirit, right? So merging all of them, it becomes magical. What is the use of eating a healthy meal, an organic meal, and you are constantly in a state of frustration and anger and just being miserable inside? It doesn't resonate. You have to look at all angles,
Absolutely.
right?
Absolutely.
And so I have learned to simplify things, to make it so simple. And when it comes to, I believe that about 70% it's psychosomatic. The emotion, the mind, the spirit, your senses, and 30% is biochemistry. The nutritional part. So that's why it's important to me when I if somebody wants to work with me, I first like to hear them out, see where they come from, to see if they are willing to tap into all of those things, and then I can tell if the person needs more of a mindset, more of an emotional reboot, or a physical reboot. I think that
Mm-hmm.
you would agree that most people are dealing with some kind of a physical issue, a pain, physical pain, neck pain, lower back pain, knee pain, inflammation in the body, um, or some emotional issue that lingering around their lives from childhood and such. Um, but the thing about the healing the emotional, we make it so personal or personalized. It's so personal. But at the end of the day, it's not even about that. It's we there's a part of the brain that it's I call it the reptilian brain that is still active. 10,000 years ago, which the main premise would be to focus on survival and reproduction.
Mm-hmm.
And we still use that part of the brain. I call it the copy paste scenario, where you are moving forward with a scarcity. Again, tapping into that pain, right? And it's very difficult to move forward when you are moving forward with feeling uncertain or utilizing the survival mechanism.
Yes.
Right away, when I work with someone, it's to tap into what drives them, what makes them tick, what moves them, and those are the values. Is it freedom? Is it stability? Is it love? Is it connection? So when you know your values and you train the brain, you train your mind about what pleasure is, coming from within, feeling those emotions within, you have those resources to help you move forward in life with pleasure. And that is the most beautiful thing, when someone starts to tap into those emotions that bring them pleasure. Would you agree that there's nothing greater than moving forward with love? And love will be one of the.
Right. And connection. I think connection is a big part of it.
Yes.
Connection with community, connection with yourself, connection with other people. And, through that connection, that's the way we're going to heal the planet, actually, ultimately. But you said most illness is psychosomatic, but I don't know, maybe you find this. I find a lot that people have done their psychological work,
Yes.
but they really haven't done the energetic work. So the vibration or the energetic of the trauma or whatever that wounding was that made them ill is still in them. So I was thinking that might be the part that you work on.
That's what I meant. It's the energetics behind the physical body, the emotion. We have a it's I somewhat like a piano, and each key has a different support. Let's call it support or sound, right? And together you make harmony. So you have an emotion, right? That you either move forward with pain or fear or love, and you have a mind, a mindset that it's tapping into survival mechanism or reproduction, right? And then you have this if you feel this, like you said, connection, but connecting within yourself, your spiritual self. It doesn't have to be religious, but it's that sense of a force or greater than us energy. So when you utilize the spiritual body, your senses, your filters, right? Touch, smell, sight, sound, taste, your emotions, your mind, and the body, and they all work together, you're bound to change. There's no way.
Mm-hmm.
Bound to change. There's no other way. And you can dumb yourself, or you can try to go back, but you can't, because
No.
power.
So what are the different modalities that you combine?
Oh my goodness, the bells and the whistles, right?
No, not necessarily. I mean, like I've trained in 20 different modalities at least, and people want to know, well, which one do you use? But just like you're, I think, describing, it isn't like that. You don't like go, I'm going to use this modality, I'm going to use that.
Yeah.
They're all kind of combined. I was just trying to go back again to your history.
Yes.
What's shaped you. What.
I think that the from the science, anatomy, physiology, the Chinese medicine, Japanese kinesiology. It's another one.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see, Shiatsu. I also learned Shiatsu, Jimu, as I mentioned. The reflexology. Reflexology. I spent years on working through energy through the feet. I had a mentor, Dr. Mikio Sankey, who he utilizes acupuncture as in a what's the word, in a very esoteric way. So he taught me the different points that would help move the energy, or move an organ, or even move your energetic fields. So for many years, I learned about Japanese, acupuncture as well. But
Yeah, I love Japanese acupuncture. It's because I'm a martial artist, and
Mhm.
it's about learning to move our chi, and I'm a black belt, and
Yes.
so that was very effective for me because Chinese acupuncture, which I was also trained as, more blood level, and it's great, but Japanese acupuncture deals in a more energetic level. Is that what you learned?
Absolutely. Yes. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and it's the one that I use now. I've done so many. What I do today, I also deal with the neurons, neurology. It's now tapping into the signals of the cell through the brain. I envision cells becoming little antennas, and those little cells are waiting for the brain to receive the signal. And sometimes the signal gets distorted, and so that's another technique that I use as well, which
Mm-hmm.
resets the signal. For example, if you have a inflamed knee, sometimes it's possible. You can do the injections, you can do massage, you can maybe take a medication to lower the inflammation. But the most important thing, the brain is not recognizing a problem 100%. So that's another technique that I use as well. It's
Mm-hmm.
the neurological uh, points of the body, from the brain to the rest of the further to the rest of the immune system, the lymphatic system, the organs, the glands, the bones, and such. And then we tap into nutrition. I have learned in so many ways, different ways of eating, from vegan, vegetarian, to raw eating, to just the what is popular today, and it's such a when we come to when it comes to foods, maybe we make it so complicated.
Arturo, what you were mentioning about those neurons is really fascinating to me. Can you tell us more, please?
Yes, let me simplify it for you. Imagine that you have more than 50 trillion cells in your body, and each cell is a little antenna, has a little antenna, waiting for the brain to send the signal. But sometimes the signal gets distorted, or it's not getting to the cell, or the cell to the brain. An example, a knee that is inflamed and in pain. Now, you may go to your doctor, and the doctor may give you an injection to lower the inflammation, and maybe a painkiller. Maybe you get a massage, trying to solve the issue. But the main problem is that the brain is not receiving the signal from the cells or on the knee. So that's the type of work that I do. It's resetting the signals so that we bring back function, and when there's function, the body starts to auto reset itself and heal itself. And then we add on top of it, we deal into personal barriers, the mindset, the foods and such. So all of that is integrative, and the person uh, will have a faster result that is more permanent.
Mm-hmm. Beautiful. So
Yes.
that first part with the neurons, it's kind of like initiating the healing response, only that comes from you.
It's the it's tapping into, you can say, the meridians. It's tapping into the frequency, the vibration that sometimes it gets distorted from, as you know, number one, stress, right? Is stress of life, the emotional stress, the mental stress,
So
the
you're
not eating
using
well.
acupuncture needles for this, or your hands, or both? Or
No, I mean, it's a hands-on, and tapping into, it's just a whole system. And another way of describing it, it's almost like correcting your motherboard on your computer.
yeah.
When computer it's broken or frozen, and you take it to the tech. The tech fixes the motherboard. So that's another way of, I fix the motherboard of your computer. I know it sounds
No, it
out
sounds
there, but
amazing. Of course, I know other people that do that, and you gave me a healing once, and I do a little of that myself, of course. So,
of course, yeah, you do. But it's, as you know, when you see the shift, an instant shift, you go, wow, the body is so
yeah.
powerful. It has all the tools that you need if you just tap into it. You could be sitting on a treasure box for the rest of your life, and if you don't dare to open up that box, all the tools are there. And so we have all the tools inside. We're never taught to use them. We live in a society of survival mechanisms. So we're running away. We don't sit down for a moment and take a deep breath and look around and see what we can use to heal ourselves. Nature. I mean, just look at nature.
Well, some people don't know they have those tools, or they don't trust them. So, thank you for teaching us about that.
And that's where we come in, right? For me, my passion is teaching. I love teaching. I'm a teacher of higher learnings, and all the things that I use, all the different modalities. But we all go to one. We all, every one of us, the mentors, doctors, healers, are going for that same direction, right?
Hmm.
It's bringing harmony into the body, into the souls, into the heart. Because when you're in love with life, when you have this vibration, when you're vibrating at that higher level of consciousness, life becomes easier.
Hmm.
So it doesn't have to be so complicated, and it's so simplified. And that is one of the things that I love about my work. It's simplifying it as much as possible. If a baby can understand, it can understand it. then that's, I think I've done my job. And it has been so hard
That's
to
wonderful.
make it so.
So how do you get these people to trust you? How do you get people to trust you?
I sing for them. There's a part of me that it's I call it, I'm a gypsy at heart. And I love the music. I love the singing. I love the bohemian style. That to me, I use that in my work. But I think that I try to create rapport with everyone that I meet, and I try to see what are their values. Even if they don't know their values, I can tap into them. Once I know their values, then there's a
Hmm.
connection.
But people aren't used
Because
to going, to a practitioner. But I guess when they come to you, they're they ex- they sort of are more open because they know you're different. But
right, I think that
I'm a doctor,
most of
so I have to kind of sometimes come in a little different way. But of course, they know I'm different too. But you know what I'm saying? A lot of people are going to come in and like not to believe that you could affect their energy because they don't come from that place. But once they feel it, then they're going to believe it.
the most of the people who I see are referral
Mm-hmm.
based. So someone already had some type of relief or
Yes.
change or information in their lives. So then they tell another person,
Mm-hmm.
and the person
Well, you've done quite
already.
well. Can you sing for us?
Of course, I can sing. What song do you want me to
I
sing?
don't know what just sing a song you would normally sing to your patient.
Let me tell you something on the side note. Maybe you can edit it or not, but I feel that I'm an old soul. 100%. I was 15 years old, 14 years old, and I love the music from the 1920s, American music from the
Oh yeah, me
1920s,
too.
1940s. I was so passionate about it, and so I got a little job working for a DJ. He at the time he was he had karaoke music, so he would do events and people would sing. Back then there were tapes, cassette tapes. So I was lucky enough to for him to give me the key of the store. So I would go every evening and I would learn the songs. So track A would be like the vocals and track B would be like the instrumental, right? That's how I learned songs from the 1920s and 30s. Boohoo, It's a Sin to Tell a Lie, Who Wouldn't Love You, Night and Day, uh, on what is it, on the Street Where You Live, Oscar Hammerstein, Cole Porter music, and so that is another. That's why I say that there's a gypsy in me, a spiritual gypsy that can tap into music, into dance, into colors, because that's where the
Well, they're
beauty
all
is, right?
healing
That's the
things. Well,
yes.
sing us a song.
Be sure it's true when you say I love you. It's a sin to tell a lie. Millions of hearts have been broken just because those words were spoken. You know that
Yes,
song? It's a sin.
beautiful.
Right?
Thank you.
It's 1920s, late
Yeah,
20s.
I love that. I
And
love the 20s music. I even love big band music too.
totally, I envision myself as in the 1920s, all dressed up with my hair pulled back, and the tie and the shiny
So
shoes.
much
I
fun.
just
Yeah,
It is a fantasy of mine, but I feel so connected to 1920s and 30s.
I love that.
So that's a little side note for me as my own personal journey. So when I'm working with someone, I try to make it fun. I think that healing doesn't have to be painful, doesn't have to be rigid. And sometimes I'm giving a treatment, and I just sing, or out of the blue I'm singing, and so I bring that lightness back into the
Oh,
healing
that's
session.
nice. So, where's your practice now, Arturo?
My practice, I'm still traveling. I'm trying to not travel as much, but it seems like that's where my journey is now. I practice a lot in Zurich, Switzerland.
Hmm.
I think that I spend a lot of time in Zurich. I've been coming to Zurich for the last 12 years. So usually I'm there 6 to 7 times out of the year. And so that would be one of my main practices. And also in LA, I use different offices for treatments in LA and now in Miami, Mexico City, New York. There's a beautiful place in New York. It's a center called Energy, and that's where where I see my patients in
Are
Manhattan.
these times on your schedule? Is that on your website or?
No, but if anyone is interested, because I also do online coaching, I do online healing, the working with on all levels, on an emotional level, on a mental level, on a nutritional as well. And so I do a lot of online services as well.
Hmm.
And the in-person is working now with the resetting the entire function of the body. So I usually, when I see someone in a city, then I continue working with them via telephone.
Hmm.
But but it's not on the website. But if anyone is interested, they can contact me via my, I will give my email and my website.
Okay, I see you have certain packages too on your website. You have the Kickstarter plan, the momentum builder, the habit
Yes,
changer, packages
correct.
like that.
Yeah, it's correct. So it depends on what the person wants, what they want to work on, and then we go from there.
Hmm.
The breakthrough plan, it's a 3 month coaching, and that we go through every single thing
Mm,
from physical, emotional, mental, spiritual. Whew, and it's a complete package, and we go on a journey together with the patient, doctor patient, and we create magic.
beautiful.
three
So
months.
how do
That's
people get a
that's what
hold of you?
they can go to my website called Eat. Well, let's give you. Let me give you another one. It's eliteglobalwellness.com.
Hmm.
That's the name of the website. Eliteglobalwellness.com.
Beautiful. Well, that kind of leads me to my next question because
Yeah.
one of the things I'm really passionate about is global wellness or planetary healing. And I believe that if we heal people and with the way we do it, which is, call it integrative medicine, but making the different connections that does raise them to a higher vibration consciousness, that they will be able
Yes.
to then know that, their energy needs to be directed towards our planet right now. And so that's why I
Absolutely.
wrote my book, Heal Yourself, Heal the Planet. Soul Doctoring, Heal Yourself, Heal the Planet. So what do you see for our future and for the planet, Arturo?
I think that now it's such a difficult time now that globally everyone is going through. But at the same time, it's a great opportunity to go within, look inside yourself, and see what's not working. It's what was working before may not be working for you now. And
Good point.
again, we go back into fast-paced society, go, 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 and not sitting down, resting, looking at the environment you're in. Does the environment make you? Does it shut down, or does it open you up? Right. And so it's tough times, but at the same time, like I said, great times if you allow yourself that possibility. It's there, and it's really there. And I've noticed that many people now are tapping into holistic alternative medicine because they know that the medical model, it's not 100% helping them. They need to look a little further than just taking a medication. It serves its purpose, but it's not fulfilling everything else from emotion to mindset and so on and so on. So the back to global major changes. My goodness, oof, It's a complete steering in many directions, steering you up in terms of your emotions, your fears, and if you become mindful of all the messages out there, could be coming from a place of fear, and so it's important not to get caught up or get into a trap of living your life in a fear-based. I think that is the most important thing that all of us have to be mindful of, not to get caught up on the fear-based, the survival mechanism, the sense of scarcity, moving forward with fear. That is the advice I would give people who are listening to the podcast, is to just take a deep breath and go back to what moves you, what excites you, what makes you tick, and what is that spark, what is it about that, and start utilizing those emotions to help you move forward. Is it love energy? Is it connection? Is it loyalty? Is it freedom, stability? What is the thing that moves you? That is the so simple, yet we make it so complicated.
Beautiful. Thank you, Arturo. And thank you so much for coming on my show and reconnecting. I just want to stay in touch now.
Yes, and let's do it again. We will come up with different topics, and we'll explore the different ways of healing the body, the mind, the spirit, the soul. I mean, there's so much to talk about, but unfortunately, we'll only have certain amount of time.
Beautiful. All right.
Yes. So thank you for inviting me.
So people will find you by going on your website and.
Yes, the eliteglobalwellness.com or info@corenaturalhealth.com. That's the email.
Beautiful. Okay. All right. Thanks so much.
Thank you so much, and we'll talk very soon.
Okay, I love you.
I love you too.
I'm Dr. Gail Randall, creator and host of Soul Stories. I just want to thank you for listening to my podcast. I recently got a notification from the International Podcast People, and I was astounded that so many countries are listening to my podcast in the category of alternative health. So thank you, and please continue to listen. I especially want to thank Egypt, Croatia, Japan, and Switzerland, also France and Ireland, because my numbers were quite high there. So keep up the good work and check out my Instagram at Dr. Gail Randall, and particularly check out my Instagram TV, where you can hear me talking about alternative medicine subjects and also see me. It's a very good show, and I think you'll like the subjects. It's on 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time every Friday, but it's recorded there, so you can find it there anytime you look. Okay, thanks again. I love you guys. This is Dr. Gail Randall from Soul Stories, and author of Soul Doctoring, Heal Yourself, Heal the Planet. I want to thank Saltology, our sponsor, at bathsalt.com, which fits perfectly into my medicine bag as it, like me, calls upon the ancient wisdom and modern technology to heal, especially with the stresses and ills of our modern times. The Bokek brand uses organic salts combined with organic essential oils sourced from ancient Egypt to provide a perfect remedy for your bathing ritual and healing from modern stresses. The Relief RX brand is a unique one-of-a-kind healing salt that uses organic CBD, treated with a unique emulsification process to create nanoparticles which easily enter the skin to most effectively heal and relieve aching muscles and joints. Whether from chronic inflammation or just a rough workout, this is the perfect healing bath. especially when you add the organic essential oils of neroli, lavender, eucalyptus, or grapefruit. Your body, mind, and soul will be lifted and soothed like never before. Go now to bathsalt.com. I also want to give special thanks to Larry Antonino and Agora Borealis Recording Studio for music and score, and also to closetotheearth.com for IT and computer assistance.